Shri Jagannath की जय जय निताई चैतन्य की जय वामदेव की जय Okay, myself, Prabhu is giving smile.
Hare Krishna, Anadi Prabhu, we are not able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it is fine now, Prabhu.
It's fine now, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, let's start with prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Salakaya Chaksurunnitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namana Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Dharani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Asindubhya Vacharitanam Bhavanebhyo Sarvebhyo Okay, so we are actually on chapter 2 and a very interesting verse today coming up, 2.25. So let's read that. Avyakto ayam achintyo ayam avikaryo ayam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanu sochitam arhasi. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So, Krishna is continuing his explanation, mostly Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is like explaining by logic. He's trying to explain by logic. So, different ways he's trying to explain. It's like, a father trying to explain the child something, try different means of how to explain the same subject. And here he is actually giving the logic as to why he should not be grieving for the body. He's already started explain that how we are different than the, how we are different from the body. And even materialists also they also understand. It's like at least when someone dies, they say, may his soul rest in peace. That means they are believing. They will not agree. Or they, the fundamentalist, they deep unconsciously, they know that there is soul. But because of these characteristics, they are not agreeing to accept the fact. That's it. But they understand that there is something which is beyond their understanding. That's why they call it soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. So soul is invisible, that we understand, right? That we cannot see soul. We can see the body, but we cannot see soul. So that's why soul is invisible, right? So one soul is invisible. And how can we know whether soul exists or not? That has already been explained. Srila Prabhupada also explains in the verse, in the purport, that we have to take certain things by authority. We cannot always base ourselves on our own intelligence or based on our own understanding. There are many things. People, be it scientists, be it anyone, they have to accept that there are certain things which has to be accepted. In scientific world, we call it the axioms. If there are no axioms, then no theorems can be proved. Simple. There is, whoever even class 8, 9, 7, we start up also. Before we learn any theorems, we have to learn axioms, and axioms have to be accepted as it is. Similarly, certain things in life have to be accepted as it is. You cannot question those. Similarly, and if you have to really understand, you have to take someone's authority. And so Prabhupada gives the example that if you have to understand, you have to know who your father is, then you have to believe who your mother says. Sometimes people, one of the class I was saying that one young chap, young or I forget, they started arguing with me that no, we'll do DNA test. That's good for the sake of argument. Even if you do DNA test, you will have to reserve your set to a particular area wherever your mother says. So you have to believe what your mother says. Similarly, so there are some things which we have to accept, and in this case, n number of times it is mentioned that Vedas is our mother. Vedas is our mother, and Krishna is our father. So the Vedas say that the size of the soul is 1 by 10,000 tip of the hair. So it's inconceivable by our own material understanding. But if we really want to know it, we have to accept the authority and we have to go across. This is a fact. And you may call it by any name, but it's called a soul. And similarly, it's immutable. You cannot change it. You cannot mutate soul kind of thing. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example of a very nice way of how Srila Prabhupada explains. He says that whatever you do, you will still stay as infinitesimal soul. And Krishna will stay as infinite. You cannot, it's not that, oh, I'll go to Golok Vrindavan and then I'll become infinite. Yes, it's simple. We will always stay, eternally stay as the servant of the Supreme Personality of God, or rather servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Personality of God. We'll stay there. And that there is no change in that. Very interesting, because today is actually Jagannath Misra feast. Actually, yesterday was the holy appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So actually, it's good to think of. I was actually thinking, which is the pastime which I can share something so that we stay Gora conscious. I was thinking something on this soul pattern, and there's something which we also did in our Gora Katha, which you all should remember that, right? In this, that when the kirtan was going on in Srivasanga, like yesterday we had some very blissful kirtan in the temple. So when kirtan was going on in the temple, in Sriva's house, calamity came. What was the calamity? The calamity was Sriva's son passed away. But Srivas didn't want to disturb the kirtan of Chaitanya. So he allowed to continue. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Personality of God, he could understand that there is something wrong. And then he asked, then he says, Srivas, then why didn't you tell me? But linking this to the topic, means wherever I was saying it, he goes, he touches the baby, and not baby, the boy. And the boy sits. Everyone is stunned. But that's something which the Supreme Personality of God and his qualified devotees can do. Like we know of cases when Narada Muni woke up a dead body. We know of how Yamaraj woke up a dead body. So this power is prevalent. As powerful the Lord is, so his devotees can be. Not that the devotee will become Lord, but they will be there. So the boy then says something which is very interesting, which is almost on the same line. The boy says that, in this case, the boy says that I'm just following whatever you desired. I'm here I was in this body till I was destined to. Now you have allowed me to go to some other body, so I'm going there. So based on your karma, you will go there, and the Lord is to desire. The final authority is the Lord's, because the Lord has seen what you have done, what you have not done, being the Paramatma. So the Lord decides. And then the Lord says, okay. And the boy sleeps. But given that the child had come and spoken, everyone's lamentation went out. And they were easily able to go away with the loss. But what is interesting here is after that what Mahaprabhu says to Srivas. Mahaprabhu says to Srivas that, fair enough, you lost a son, but you have me and Nityananda as your eternal sons. Now the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternal. Any other relationship, whatever we do, if we are not understanding that we are soul, any other relationship we bring about here, he says no, soul is inconceivable. I'm trying to say that any other relationship which we bring out here has a temporary ending. You agree it or not agree it, you deny it or you accept it. But there's a fact that any particular relation, in fact, in Vaishnava, Bhakti Siddhanta says about a particular Bhakti Siddhanta says that, like the straws, you see straw, right? The straw, when it whirlwind comes, the straw comes, two straw comes together, they stay for some time and again they go out. He says that is how our relationship is here. Maybe there you're seeing the time frame, here the time frame is a little more. But we come together, you cannot decide who your father will be, who your mother will be, unlike the Supreme Personality, who your spouse will be, who our friends will be. Our friends, at least you can decide who your relatives will be. I'm basically saying about your immediate, where you will take birth, you cannot decide. So the Supreme Personality of God will decide based on the laws of nature, based on what you have done. That is inconceivable. And for that, it is not that he's just doing based on whims and fancies. No, nothing of that. He's doing properly based on the laws of nature. He has defined a set of rules and he's doing that. And if we have to come out of this, for that also he has set a rule. He says, yes, you can come out of this if you start accepting that this is soul, and the soul is an eternal servant of the Supreme Soul. And if we start doing that, then we can develop this eternal relationship with Supreme Personality. That's what Chaitanya says to Srivas, that we can do that. In fact, there is one more, I don't remember at the top of my head, maybe someone from you in the audience also can say me that. There's one place, the Supreme Personality of God actually, even till today, it's in Gaur Leela, that he goes to perform the last rites of the devotee. The devotee didn't have child, so the Supreme Personality would say, I'll be your son. And the Supreme Personality of God fulfills his commitment, unlike others. See, if I die, I cannot do the last rites. So means every year I cannot do the Shraddha ceremony for my father, right? Of course, my father is also alive. So I'm just saying it, for instance. But I'm saying it. So similarly, but the Lord being eternal, the Lord will continue to perform this rather for the devotee. That means that became eternal. So that is inconceivable by our normal thing, but we have to understand that. And so soul is eternal, Lord is eternal. The other day, I remember Sumantha Mataji was giving in our class, and she was saying that we are spiritual beings in this material body. So it's not the other way around. Right? So if we start understanding that, then it will be considerable. Then we will start working towards it. And this is the right time. New Year resolutions, all of you make, right? All of you make New Year resolution. Today is a good day to make that. I was saying this morning also to the boys here in the base. I was saying that this is the right day to make some New Year resolution. It's our Gaurabda starting today, 5:36. Gaurabda. So all of you should actually make some resolutions, what you will do. And the resolutions should revolve around the eternity of soul. And what I should do this Gaurabda. Should I again keep running for that body and creating resolutions for my body? do something, whatever you want, but for soul pie, how many other people I will reach out to and explain about this invisible, inconceivable, immutable portion of the soul in a way they can understand. You all should make one goal for yourself and work towards it. And that's the way we can be grateful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to our spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, to the wonderful devotees who are spending gallons of blood for making us devotees. The only way to be grateful is to share this transcendental knowledge in a way people can understand. So please do that. We are starting our next batch of Gita Gyan again on April 4th. So start sharing that message with everyone so that we can have more number of people joining in, taking in the knowledge. And more of you should become teachers. One teacher, one Chaitanya has said that I alone cannot be the gardener. How many fruits can I pluck? So all of you should become gardeners and help in gardening and sharing this transcendental knowledge. That's my request as we start this Gaurapta. Very thankful to Sri Hari Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to speak today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If anyone has any comments or any questions, we can take. Others, you all may leave if you would like.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.